Alright guys, welcome to the ostensibly the marquee match for today, the finals, or at least the finals of the upper bracket. The last game for today, we will see the winners of the previous match, Ardent Esports, going up against Sanzuwu, which is a name that kind of lingers in your mind due to the Uwu part. Of
Ooh,
course,
yeah.
I'm not a big fan of the Uwu. In fact,
Okay.
I absolutely detest it, so saying the name gives me a bit of chills in my body.
All right.
Once again, I am Hungry Cast, and alongside me is Spoots, and
Hello.
let's just jump into the picks and bans and look at this right now. There's Delusion first picked already on the Sanzuwu side. Meanwhile, Ophelios, Galio, as well as Morgana have been banned out. For the Ardent Esports side, Darius, Zach, as well as Jarvan will be removed, but they will get the Misfortune Brawl.
Yeah, just a lot of target bans coming out from both sides actually. Arden with the Misfortune Brom, quite the strong bottom lane. On the other side, we do get Lucian, Leona, they're also very strong.
Yeah.
But they do need to get a hit earlier on.
Now, because they have the Braum, it actually removes a lot of the Ornn power pick available to Sanzuwu right now. So they're looking for the Casio, which is probably a decent pickup here. We saw Missy Hobbs play Casio, I think 2 games before this,
Yeah.
so she did do pretty well. And now we have the Ari for the mid lane here on the side of Ardent. This matchup, I tend to favor the Casio a bit more just because all you have to do is scale. You just
Yeah.
don't get caught and you will scale up. Whereas Ari has to find the picks and make the plays happen before things can actually work out in her favor.
Yep, no melee mid matchup, no you would think no
Mm.
glacial augment now coming in for the Ari.
Electrocute.
Woo!
Mordekaiser ban out already, and right now for Sanzuwu, they're looking for the next ban. I feel like you want to remove the jungle pool right now. You kind of want to thin out the jungle pool because Jarvan has been removed and so has Zac, right? So think about what you could say. You could remove the Elise. Instead, they will go for the Gnar in the top lane. So maybe trying to give themselves a better top lane matchup here. For another jungle
Hang
ban?
on.
Okay.
I promise.
Might default to a Nocturne at this point.
Ooh, I don't know, man. If they're looking at tier 1 junglers, there's still Elise and Gragas. And looking at a composition, Elise might be... Elise is going to pigeon you into picking an AD top laner. Gragas has anti-synergy with Misfortune and Braum. So, I don't know. They're kind of like, pick your poison, right? So instead, they will pick the Ornn for themselves. Nice.
Not sure if you go for the Elise here though. I mean, if you go for the Elise, that's a lot of,
Same thing, right? You have a problem. You have AP mid and AP jungle, then your top laner has to be either tank or AD.
yeah, and you have to go for the early. You have to get a hit early, effectively, on both
Echo.
champions. The
Not bad though.
yeah,
Echo in the jungle.
Ooh.
Rammus. I feel like they're trolling us at this point.
Rammus is
Holy,
strong.
okay.
He's always strong.
I don't know, man. I feel like if you pick Rammus, you want people to hate you.
Yeah.
Like, every time I play solo queue and there's a Rammus on the opposite team, I hate my life instantly.
yeah, that's the point of picking Rammus. It's okay.
It's okay.
Yeah, that's the obligatory okay
okay.
joke done for the day. We can continue on. Who's gonna be the top laner to go against all?
What if it's a-
Mordekaiser is banned.
What if it's a Rammus top lane? Is that a possibility?
That is not really. I don't think so.
Okay,
I
so
haven't
it should.
seen it. So yeah.
It's a Shen top lane right now.
Mhm.
Interesting way of delivering Shen into fights, I guess, if you want to consider it that way.
Ooh, yeah.
They're still looking for their jungler, and like you said, Nocturne might just be the pick here. I'm not fully sold because we talked about the problem of EXP gains, and Nocturne as a jungler takes too long to come online at onto level 6 in the current iteration of jungle camps. So it's one of the hit or miss picks, I feel.
Mispicks indeed. You definitely have to get a hit. Even sort of leech XP from
Yeah.
your lanes if you want to get a level 6
Oh yeah.
in order to have an impact on your map. We had a discussion earlier,
Mhm.
just a bit of a rehash for those who weren't with us.
Looking at
Yeah.
the compositions, who do you have your money on? Because both teams actually bringing very aggressive bot lanes. The only differential here I feel is that the junglers are geared towards different styles. Nocturne looking for that level 6 to make a high impact global play, semi-global play. Rammus, meanwhile, is powerballing into every lane at every time, every possible available time to try and make the ganks happen.
Yeah, I have to say that my personal money is gonna be on Sanzuwu.
Mhm.
I think their composition is just has a little bit more damage, just a little bit more ability to go in.
Right.
Pre-6 as well. I mean, you don't have the limitations of the Nocturne not having ultimate, so
Mhm.
Sanzuwu definitely gonna be able to make something happen on the map earlier on in the game, and I think it's gonna be up to them to really snowball and see how the game really plays out post 6.
There are a lot of decent lanes with low mobility actually that the Rammus can gank pretty well. So early on we're talking about like how Ari, you could still charm Rammus, but it's just gonna bring him closer to you, right? As
That's
far as
true.
I understand, charm doesn't knock him out of
Yeah.
Powerball. In the bot lane, Misfortune and Braum. Sure, Braum can block the powerball incoming, but you can still taunt Misfortune if you're in range, right? So I think with the access to the lanes and the lack of mobility on both Misfortune and Ari, Rammus should consider starting on the top side, path towards mid and bot, and try to make things happen with the very reliable CC that his laners provide as well.
For sure, I think we want to talk a little bit about the top lane because I think we focus on the bot side a little bit. Shen Ornn. I think Shen actually wins this matchup.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, Ornn certainly does have the damage. Is
Right.
definitely going to be able to, definitely has a window rather to beat Shen in that lane. I think
Right.
Shen, if he's able to outlast the Ornn rather,
the lore.
the Ornn, it will be able to dish out more consistent damage. Going to have much more global impact across the map. So I think this lane definitely goes over to Shen if he's able to hold it down.
Right. The idea is if you go even or lose gracefully, that's fine,
Yeah.
right? But if you get like counter snowball and Ornn just pops off, then not so much impact anymore.
We haven't seen a popped off Ornn so far, but once Ornn pops off, that is quite a sight to behold, I think.
I think people, like, at least from the qualifiers that we've seen over the weeks, when people get Ornn, they understand that, okay, this is a very stable rock of a champion. You can't go wrong with Ornn, right? As long as you don't misplay badly, you can't go wrong. But then they fail to fully understand how to snowball the lead on Ornn. Like, sure, your damage numbers are good, and your passive helps, boost your teammates through upgrading the items. But how do you snowball that into a global advantage? The only team so far that's displayed the ability to translate top lane Ornn's power into the rest of the map is Liab. And even then, the execution was kind of sorely lacking in a bit. They understood, okay, Ornn can get a solo kill here, still have EXP differential, let's TP him to the bot lane and make something happen. Because Call of the Forge God is super good at starting fights. But then the rest of the team not on the same page, right? So if Ardent can do this, it at least gives me hope, or a bit more of a higher expectation of Philippines as a general, understanding how to make use of Ornn.
Yeah, and the thing we talked about in both teams, right, is that they're both pretty good at executing what they want to do. So it really will come down to who's going to be able to edge out whom when it comes down to this execution. And honestly, you have to give it to the veteran talent that's on Ardent to do so.
Not to say we were talking about this earlier, but Ardent, multiple members on the lineup have been playing together for all seasons of FSL qualifiers.
Yeah.
Of course, the veteran shot calling is there, the experience and understanding. If we're behind, how do we play to get back into the game? If we're ahead, how do we snowball or lead? And I think it was very evident the previous game about the way they controlled the map and played around the objectives. This time against a team that is, I think, arguably equal in terms of individual skill. Let's just put it that way, right?
Okay.
There's less of a skill differential in just the laners alone. I feel like this time is a true test of their ability. Because the previous game, I'll be honest, bot lane itself was really, really difficult.
Sure, that's a Guardian on Shen, I believe. No aftershock,
no grasp.
No grasp, yeah. Not going to have as much sustain as he might like in the top lane against, grasp Ornn. So definitely playing a bit more supportive is this Shen.
Like
On
you said,
to the Rift now.
Ari playing into a range matchup. We'll go electrocute, of course. No shenanigans of the Glacial Augment. Meanwhile, for this Cassio, actually quite a smart adaptation. You normally see Cassiopeia players go for the Conqueror, but this time going for the Phase Rush because you need the movement speed to dodge away from the Charm. Whereas the rest of the Keystones look pretty standard to me.
Yeah. Nothing too out of the ordinary.
No Predator Rammus today. No,
not.
Is that a chat move or is
is
it a legit build or is it a chat build?
I believe it's a legit chat build.
Okay.
We do see the aftershock coming from Rammus, obviously playing a little bit more defensive. Yeah, I think it's viable. I'm pretty sure. I mean, I said Rammus is pretty viable, right? But I don't believe. Or rather, I'm not very experienced with the pick myself.
Right.
I don't play Rammus. I've just seen him able to pop off. Like, you get a few kills, you get a few assists on this champion. He just rolls all across the map, gets kills everywhere, and honestly, the sheer speed he brings just ensures that the enemy team doesn't really see you coming.
It's similar to Nunu in a way that, like, by the time you see him arrive and he's ganking you, it's too late, right?
Yeah.
You need to spot him on the approach, not as he is approaching you.
So it does really come down to ward placement. You don't put the ward at the entrance of the river. You put it, sort of at the camp, so you know that he's on your side of the map. You just play back a little bit, not even giving the opportunity to go in.
100%. I feel like that's how you're gonna want to play against a Kia this game. And looking at that, it's not just avoiding and dodging the Rammus. It's also trying to find advantages of your own if you're the Nocturne. we mentioned one of the ways you can do that is to sort of leech EXP from other laners if you can gank successfully. Otherwise, time taken to get to level 6 will be quite delayed.
Yeah, I believe even just leeching one wave from your enemy, from one of your other laners is actually just super beneficial to your clear and super beneficial to your XP gains. I mean, I believe one time I saw you just leech 6 minions without your side laner coming, without your solo laner coming, and you're just about 2 levels ahead.
That's insane. All you have to do is just get the EXP, right? And like, sure, with Hunter's Machete, Hunter's Talisman, there's the reduction, the penalty, if you will, to stop funneling. But the moment you upgrade it, the penalty is gone. Doesn't even matter anymore. So you could still CS, it's fine. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. Bit of a technical issue right now early on, so hopefully we can figure that out soon.
Feels paused, man.
Feels paused, man. Yeah.
Yeah, we've seen it multiple times throughout the entire day. It's just very unfortunate, but allows us to discuss strategy a little bit more in depth, I think.
I feel like if you are looking at the Sanzuwu composition on the blue side, there is a bit of a timer though, because it's gonna hit a point in the late game where neither Cassio nor Lucian can realistically take down the Ornn.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the ticking time bomb. The Ornn is gonna be this massive front line at the end, and you just can't do anything because he's so tanky and he has so many resistances, and you're just like autoing a brick wall.
That's true.
And then it just buys space for Misfortune to actually move forward and advance aggressively. Last time in the past, Misfortune was you would build her like an outbot. You build Black Cleaver into just full on AD and try your best to shred, right? But nowadays, Essence Reaver and Infinity Edge makes it so much more deadly when it comes to team fighting.
Alright, we're getting an update with the pause. It's you know, a well-known Riot bug at this point. I think you might have seen it as well. The player runes were not in fact saved when we got into the game. So we're gonna remake the game with the same pick and bans shortly after this.
Yeah, I think we should be hoping to jump out, and maybe when we come back, we'll probably take a short break.
Yep.
And when we come back, we will probably have the game set up and all ready for you guys. Apologies, of course. Like you said, it's a well-known bug. It does happen, but we can't chrono break. We don't have the tournament realm, so we can't do that. But for now, guys, we will be going for a very short break. When we come back, all this will be reset. We'll be ready to go into game.
Yep.
All right, we are back. Unfortunately,
let's go.
We jinxed it.
We
jinxed it.
Why did you say this? How can you do this to us?
I was like, we are back
man.
at boom, instant pause.
Oh man,
I'm so
hopefully it's
sorry.
nothing
Yeah.
major.
Yeah,
Hopefully
I'm so sorry.
all the
I'm
rules
so sorry.
are back in order. Quick update.
Yeah.
It was in fact the Shen
Yes.
taking Grasp of the Undying now instead of the Guardian.
Yeah, we
as
were
he
like, well,
previously
there is
did.
a way to efficiently use your ultimate.
Yeah.
No. It's Grasp of the Undying. It's for laning. Hopefully this will resolve soon.
Yeah, indeed. So we're gonna see a Grasp trade
Yeah.
on the top side. It's gonna be very interesting. That's very interesting. Yeah. So sustain fast in the top side. We will be resuming play here. I believe Shen is back. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Let's just stop saying that. Let's just stop talking about that.
Do not allude to the game at all. It's
Okay.
very
The game
sensitive,
has
yeah.
been paused.
Yeah.
The game has been paused.
okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Jinx it the other way around.
Jinx it the other way around.
Yeah.
Everything is gonna go horrifically wrong.
Oh no.
But we went too much this time. We actually did jinx it. Alright. It's okay.
Yeah,
Alright,
nothing's happening.
okay.
Nothing's happening. Okay.
Yeah, so we were talking about how it was the Grasp instead of
Yeah.
the Guardian, which makes more sense. Of course, you need a laning sustain. Right now, though, we see a 3-man stack here. The Ornn is going to be on the top side, the Ari in the mid lane, and might just get spotted walking forward. Zakia, I think, was barely clipped on the edge. Will throw out the Dust Trail and scare away the Rammus here in the jungle.
This is very unconventional jungle matchup.
Oh, yes,
you
you
think?
are right.
Oh,
you are right.
Yeah, right.
Top tier analysis.
Top tier analysis. Oh man, I'll be here all week. No, but I mean, Rammus being picked into Nocturne, I think is actually
Well, it's actually the other way around. It's the Nocturne into
the Nocturne Rammus.
Nocturne to Rammus.
I honestly think Rammus would have a better time into the Nocturne, wouldn't you think?
Yeah, I feel like most people always pick Rammus when they see it's usually a solo queue game. Okay, let me set the scene. It's a solo
Okay.
queue game.
Okay.
you are playing AD and your top laner is like, I'll be really good here. Talon. And he insta-locks Talon. He's like, okay, cool, maybe that's a cheese pick. And then your jungler sneaks like, I'll be really good here? Master Yi. And then he insta-locks Master Yi, like, oh no! And then the mid laner is like, guys, I'm gonna one-up all of you. I'm gonna pick Zed. And that's when, your opponent's instantly gonna lock in Rammus jungle. But it's not the case. We actually have a mix of AP and AD.
Yeah. Not sure where that was going.
It's basically
Wild
saying
ride.
everyone builds AD, and like everyone picks an AD assassin of some sort.
Yeah.
Then the counter pick is Rammus, right? But in this case, there's actually a decent damage spread in the form of Ornn as well as Ahri to make the Rammus feel a bit less efficient, less effective.
Yeah, very interested to see how he does. Honestly, like just because we don't see the champion a lot, so I'll focus in on what the Rammus does and how he's able to make any plays.
Coming in. Actually, didn't even have to pop a pot charge at all. Still keeping pretty popped up. Meanwhile, moving forward aggressively, Sunako looking for the Shield of Daybreak stun, but not able to find the range.
Oh man. Alright, well, in this bottom lane, you really have to, expect Leona and Lucian to really be looking for sort of early engages. They didn't manage to hit level 2 first, so that was a bit of a window that they were not able to they were not able to use, rather.
Did see the double up clip the Leona, so in this lane that's how you pretty much want to play it out, right? All you do is try to poke them down with the Q on the misfortune to double up, of course. And then if you can clip them enough times, hold on, Taunt in the top side, procs the Grasp of the Undying as well and gets the shield down. So good trade there. Well done, Endeavor.
Yeah, Shen does a lot of damage, especially with Grasp on the Undying. It's just, in the early levels you're not expecting it to come, and it can catch you out by surprise.
Okay, so Cassio got... Okay, they both managed to get their own specific cannon minions, but with the Phase Rush being propped there, this is kind of why we see the pickup of that Keystone. Very quick is Misty hops when she does activate it. And of course you can dodge away from the Charm as well as the Orb of Deception.
We're not seeing a lot of action in the early game as compared to our previous few matches. I say that.
Might see something happen here as Akia is going to spot the Nocturne here. In terms of wave prio, it belongs in favor of Missy Hops, who is going to instantly roam out of the lane. And this forces Marcy back a little bit. She can't contest this, so she will have to walk down to the bot Scuttlecraft.
Yeah, but they now have vision of where the Rammus is. Threat of a gank coming from nowhere is significantly diminished. A ward coming down for the Ornn is also going to spot out any sort of maneuvers Rammus tries to make. So he's just going to back away, continue farming.
So they're not going to actually contest the bot Scuttlecraft. Instead, we'll give it over. Just as I say that, Sunako is going to walk into the river. We'll spot out this objective being taken, and Marcy should be able to claim it for herself.
There's a very aggressive pathing coming out from Sunako. Might have gotten collapsed on there. Fortunate that she didn't. Back to defensive laning for all the lanes here.
We're 4 minutes in, it's still pretty even in terms of gold. It's only a small lead being picked up right now, but overall, like we mentioned, it's back and forth, doesn't really matter. The window to go aggressive in the bot lane actually is there right now for level 3. Sunako can go in. And knowing that the Nocturne as well as your own jungle has path away, it's a small window, like I said, to try and find the all-in.
Yeah, this is sort of like the best window for you to go in, right? Well, not now since your opposing laner actually just got level 4, but you're still pretty high. You've not still high on health. You haven't got poked down by the double up as you can see it's happening here. So you basically want to go in on the MF ROM when you're healthy, because once these double ups keep getting procced on you, you're not going to have a very good time laning.
Oh man, Sunako is just wearing the world's heaviest shoes right now. Getting hit by all the skill shots.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate when you're playing an engaged champion like Leona rather.
Then when you're low in health, you just can't really find a window to all in anymore. Right now, Marcy is going to try and solo this Cloud Dragon, and interesting use of the spell shield to get additional attack speed, because of course auto attacks from Drakes are considered as spells, so you can get free proc off and still heal up, or rather get additional attack speed.
Yeah, props to Ardent understanding that they have to push up the bottom lane in order to secure the dragon. Interestingly enough, in the previous few games, we actually saw a lot of action in the bot lane to secure that priority. But this time, nope. We're just going to step back. We're going to push out the lane methodically. You can see that, both teams don't really want to start anything so far.
There's a Rammus here sitting in the tri-bush. Control ward will isolate the vision there. But overall, it's just a routine visit to the bot lane to make sure nothing too tricky or suspicious happens. Marcy's still only level 4, and like we said, you know, at this current iteration of the jungle camps, you take way too long to hit level 6, so we won't see her come online anytime soon, at least another 2.5 minutes, 3 minutes, depending on how well she paths.
Yep, Rammus actually being spotted out in that bottom side ward, so is now going to path towards top side to ensure that, you know, she is not counter jungled or anything of the sort by the Nocturne.
Managing to land a miasma there, a good fancy feat coming in for Missy Hops. Irony being that, of course,
she has no feet.
I was waiting for you to like, oh yes, yes.
yes.
400 IQ joke, very good.
Very good, sir.
Zakia will be taking the top Scuttle Crab. A good micro on the direction pathing, stopping the Scuttle Crab from running alright. But we see the Nocturne actually making moves towards the top side. There are wards, or pings rather, that spot her out.
Yep, spotted out the Rift Scuttle rather being taken by the Rammus like you said. Good backup from both solo laners to ensure that there is no contest basically for that minor objective.
Right now, Janelle is having a pretty tough time in mid lane because she didn't base in with enough gold to get the... Oh, hold on. Actually, a lot of damage. She... Ooh, that one really hurt.
Ah, well, phase rush increases
the movement speed, and so you're charmed under turret much quicker. That is a fuse, man.
Unfortunate.
But like I was saying, Janelle didn't base with enough gold to get the mana book, so of
nice.
course she's going to be lower mana in the mid lane, as Call of the Forge God was used by Suzy to get a bit more damage down. But remember that Stand United is still available for Endeavor if she wants to join in the play.
Yep, indeed. I think she's pretty happy right now. Just healing up a little bit while the Ornn should not have any sources of healing coming back, so pretty happy just staying here and poking, taunting up actually.
Oh, actually now inside this dodge zone, it does a lot of damage onto Suzy, so we'll be able to clear the wave out as well. Tiamat picked up, means that wave clear for the Shen is pretty good. Now Janelle will have to back off to get the...
This Brom's going rogue. Why is
roaming,
he here?
Roaming Broms are the best.
Alright, I mean, sure, you get some vision around the Rift Herald, but your AD carry is nowhere near here. If the Leona-Lucian combo decide to go in on her, there's not much else you can do. But at this point, I don't believe Sanzuwu have vision on the Brom. They don't know he's here, so actually might not be the worst play.
So sneaking over with the Blast Cone now, ensuring that they have top prio. Interesting here, because of course the teleport from Ornn was expanded to come back to lane quicker, so it seemed as though like the Ornn was just, you know, cautious not to miss any CS, but because they managed to jump over the wall, they sneak this Rift Herald away and can now use it to further push for more objectives.
Yeah, this is the second objective that Ardent has been able to sneak away from.
Kinda smart, right?
So, yeah, I mean, just comes down to vision, I guess. You have to put down more wards if you're on the side of Sanzuwu in order to make sure none of these objectives continue to fall into the hands of Ardent without, you know, any sort of contest.
Chana, if I was the Misfortune, I instantly proc my out just to... There you go, this is the play, yep.
So
you have to clean the wave out.
5-hit prediction coming in, man.
The reason why you do that is because if the wave is stacked too big and both Hell and Sunako have the ultimates, they can dive you, right? With a big stack wave. Speaking of dive,
nice
here
flash.
comes the power ball, flashing in, landing the taunt of Misfortune and the Stand United as well. This is extremely dead AD carry, and with the Shen joining in, I think both bot laners are done for. Now they can collapse on bot tier 1. They find 2 quick kills on the bot lane. And Rift Herald, I don't know, man. Not really used in the best place, or rather not really any opportunity to use it at all.
Yeah, could have been a better, I don't know, setup in the bot side. I don't think they saw the Rammus because of the control wall in the river, so definitely have to be a bit more careful, and props to Sanzuwu for, you know, pulling the trigger. Instantly 5-man teleporting bot lane to secure 2 quick kills. Rift Herald being placed down mid lane, so they're actually going to get a few plates. Teleport expended for the side of Endeavor.
So coming in, getting charmed up, actually a lot of damage, and I was just sort of thinking about whether that was the right play. I don't know. I think that's a hard no from me.
That's a hard throw from me too, boss. I mean, interesting with an emphasis on the int, I guess. I'm not sure what that was. I mean, you teleport in.
It's a long day for us and for the players as well, I think.
Kill the Herald instead of jumping in 1v2 and completely whiffing your taunt.
Yep. That was a... Oh, buddy, Zakia, I don't think you want to be there. Feared up, charmed up as well, and now the Spirit Rush being used for additional damage. Pretty good W though. We'll stop her from using the Spirit Rush anymore. Petrifying Gaze was pretty decent as well, and now they're coming in. A bit unfortunate the Zenith Blade did not connect, but this allows both Cha as well as Gia to get out. Decent charm on the exit though. But the micro duo between Missy Hobbs as well as Marcy was won by the Snake Lady, of course.
It's a bit of a fiesta fight that was. I mean, you saw basically abilities flying left, right, center, completely whiffing most of the time. I mean,
remember this Braum is only level 5, so there is no Glacial Fissure. Can't really come in to make anything happen just yet. They do have the MF out, which they will use right now, but here comes the Zenith Blade to disrupt it, and now I'm thinking you might have unfortunately given some kills over to your opponents here. Flashing for it as well. The Lucian might just be popping off here, finding 2 kills, looking for the third right now. Give it over, buddy. That's a triple kill for the Lucian, and well, Scumbag support did steal it, so no.
Yeah, I mean, that was a good jump in from De Leon to cancel away the bullet time from the Misfortune. I'm not sure if the re-engage was actually the best call. I mean, obviously it wasn't the best call since they did give over 3 kills to Sanzuwu. I mean, not the cleanest play that we are used to seeing from Ardent. Definitely some mistakes coming through.
All the Forge Guard being used and never kiting away. Will get knocked out, and with the Brittle as well as the Bellows Breath is going to be a solo kill. Endeavor. Second big mistake this time, I think. Suzy Sor on this Ornn is a force to be reckoned with now, and we're talking about how the composition of Sanzuwu is on a timer. You have to be very careful about the Ornn because it's going to hit a point where you just basically can't deal with the Ornn. I think the item gap is Renwin's Omen and Adaptive Help. That's the part where you, from then on, you just don't do damage to it.
Alright, you're still able to play around the Ornn, of course. It's not definitely a hard timer, I guess, to put it that way. At this point, wondering whether or not the Shen is going to be able to, equalize this lane actually, since, Ornn is actually picking up a lot of defensive stats at this point, a lot of health as well as a lot of armor, so it's going to get harder and harder for this Shen to really make an impact in this lane. And if she continues falling behind, you have to think maybe Guardian was the best keystone to go for.
Oh man! Oh, the next level flame.
Oh man.
You're pretty much saying this guy is not even a solo laner anymore. Get Guardian so you can be the second support.
I'm saying that if you're not able to deal with the Ornn, you try to get some map. Pressure elsewhere on the map using your ultimate. Therefore, using Guardian gives you much more efficiency because the rest of the Undying is better.
5-hit logic. We'll go with that. Okay.
Yes.
Alright, now you can see this wave is unfortunately frozen here. Ardent are quite overextended past the river, which is why both Marcy as well as Janelle made moves towards the bottom side. They want to cover their bot laners in case anything happens here.
Yeah, you can see that Misfortune right now with the double up looking quite menacing.
Yeah.
Does a lot of damage, chunked out the Lucian for just 30%. Be quite accurate with these abilities actually.
Should also note that on the top side, Suzy Sor's teleport is coming up soon, whereas Endeavor does have Stand United but no TP. So whoever casts their global spell first is gonna lose. Of course, here comes the all-in, Paranoia coming in, no chance whatsoever for Missy Hobbs. That was an unfair fight, you have to feel. Ardent now firing on all cylinders here in the mid lane, taking mid tier 1.
Yeah, there's just clean execution coming from Ardent. Not really much we can do to blame the Cassiopeia. Perhaps walking up a little too far, but at the end of the day, you're not going to see that Nocturne coming if he just puts down the ultimate and runs at you.
Yeah. Right now, Zika is in the bottom half. They're looking to cover this play. A bit of a ring around the rosy here.
Oh boy, time to get out.
There's literally 4 members here. I feel like you run. You just don't stick around, right?
Yeah. Meanwhile, we do see the Shen actually backing, resetting, perhaps waiting for this fight to start so he can use the ultimate.
That's such a big wave as well. I'm not sure why they... Maybe they were afraid of the response from the Shen being off the screen in Fog of War. So just in case anything, if Shen pops in, it might make that dive a lot more tricky.
It's unfortunate timing. This is bad tempo play coming in for the side of Ardent. I mean, backing right now, you can't even back right now if you're this Braum and Ari, because the moment you back, that turret goes down. So unless you're willing to make that trade, you have to stay. And you don't really want to stay when you're this... Well, when you haven't backed this long.
Yeah, it's gone. There's no way to defend this. They will lose bot tier 1. So far, it's one turret for one turret, but the attention has been focused towards the top side. Rift Herald is the call, but here comes the powerballing Rammus into the fight. Can he land the taunt is the question. Actually, a decent amount of damage already onto Marcy, and immediately she goes down. Now the next person that is being focused is Suzy Soul, who will have to dash away, but it's gonna be the Rift Herald leashed in favor of Sanzuwu, and they will take it without any issues here.
Yep, one Rift Herald apiece. First one was snuck away, second one was not so fortunate for the side of Ardent. Sanzuwu rather, manages to pick up a kill as well as the big objective. Now the question is, once again, how are they going to use it on the map?
Rotating back over to the bot half after taking the bot tier 1. That's a thumbs down play for me, but of course with Infernal Dragon coming up, they need to get the bot lane prio first. I can understand why, but I feel like mid lane prio is where the attention should be, right? Especially because you don't have mid tier 1. So shove the wave up consistently, maybe put the AD and support there, and then have Cassio play bot lane.
They have to be around this area. They have to clear out the vision. I mean, the map before this was completely dark, and now they have some wards down. They can actually begin, threatening the dragon.
Do they force this one here, though, is the question? Because they have the tools. Although Cassio is in a weird position, they can force this fight. I feel like now that Shen is recalling, you do have Stand United, you have tools to get into this, so you just press the issue, try and attempt the Infernal Drink and see what happens. Teleport coming in though, this is going to be the Orange joining the fight.
I don't think they see it.
Yeah, they might not see. Here comes Call of the Forge God, they're jumping on the backline. Look at the damage coming in from the Misfortune, immediately shredding everyone in the backline. Even though the Infernal Dragon was stolen away, the Misfortune just did so much damage there. I think Ardent right now are just popping off here. Running away is Zakia, managing to powerball out with a sliver of health, but you know what? That's fine. You give the Infernal Dragon over, we clean up the fight, and now we can pop the mid lane push.
Yeah, 3 for 1 plus Infernal Drake. Not exactly sure if that's worth or not. We'll just have to see. But right now, tempo does belong to the side of Ardent. They are going to have the inside track onto this mid lane turret, and with 3 strong and a ton of minions, you would have to think that it's going to go down.
Yeah, it's definitely going down right now. Endeavor coming in. Sure, you can taunt to buy some time under this mid tier 2, so but that's gonna be a death sentence if you stick around.
Okay then, that is 2 turrets in the mid lane for the side of Ardent, opening up the map quite considerably. Meanwhile, on the side of Sanzuwu, they have yet to get a single mid lane turret, so that is something that they definitely have to begin focusing on.
Oh, I love this immediate pickup of the Knight's Vow from Liliana on to tag up rather with the Lucian, so actually reduces the damage that Lucian takes. Now they will pop the Rift Herald in the mid lane. Will be able to claim mid tier 1 as well. Now they're looking for a second charge.
They're gonna get it.
Yeah, they will get it. But the ensuing fight is the problem right now. Yeah. I think there is every opportunity for Ardent to force this with Call of the Forge God, but they will be more disciplined and back off.
Yeah, good hit engage coming in from Sanzuwu as well, not taking any sort of fights there. Just happy with the turret chunks and the 1 turret that he did get in the mid lane. Question is now, what are they gonna do with the advantage? Well, not advantage, but return on investments, let's put it. They have to continue putting up their, pushing up the ward line, because as it stands, Ardent does have, well no, actually I think the wards are actually quite
even
equalized.
Yeah. Blue buff going the way of the Cassiopeia, but you're talking about ward line being even, but there's actually a lot of deep vision on the top side, so you can see the focus right now for Ardent at least is playing towards the top half of the map. They've committed Suzy Soul to the bottom half, right? She's switching between collecting bot waves and mid waves. Teleport coming in though, they want to make this play happen. Powerballing in, they actually with the Solar Flare as well as the Zenith Blade, so I don't know if anything else can really happen here. Ardent all retreating and scattering like the wind, so that was a lot committed for a rather weak return on investment, you have to think. Charm landing on Endeavor, no magic resistance for this Shen means that there's gonna be a lot of damage down on top of him.
Yeah, not exactly sure what he was trying to do there, perhaps place down some deeper wards, but they're actually gonna force this.
They will force this. Call of the Forge God hits 3 and the Paranoid on the back line. This is decent positioning. There comes your bullet time, and even though she's taunted up, they managed to clean up the back line. Char falling very low, sure. All fine and dandy, but they managed to get all the damage that's required. Hell though, popping off right now, but the Bell's Breath finishes off the Lucian. It doesn't take a genius to know that this is gonna be a really poor fight for the Rammus.
But we did see how tanky Rammus was, right? They were nearly able to turn that fight around with the combined efforts of the Lucian and the Rammus. And it's just, sort of unfortunate that, again, the Ornn was actually the tankiest member in that fight. And did come out the victor of the day.
I'm telling you, buddy, timer is ticking. Suzy Sora now 3-0 and 6. It's gonna hit a point where you don't do anything to the Ornn anymore. And we saw evidence of that, slivers of that in the previous fight. Even though you have a Rammus last man standing, there's nothing that Delusion can do. There's nothing the Casio can do because it's such a force of nature in the front line.
Alright, resetting the fight. It's actually, gold is actually pretty even right now. It's like only about 100 apart. It literally doesn't matter. What is more important at this point in time is again clearing out this vision like you see on your screen Sanzuwu is doing right now. Ardent does continue to have a little bit of a vision advantage around the big purple worm, but you would have to think that's going to be equalized sooner rather than later as Sanzuwu continues to try.
They should be committing the Shin to the bot half because Stay United is up. I think your best bet right now is to commit into the backline with the Shin, Rammus, and try to pick up Cha before she can channel Bullet Time. The reason Ardent has been sweeping these fights is because Bullet Time has been used in very strategic positions and channeled for at least more than half the duration. If you can cancel early or even kill MF before that, you stand a very good chance of winning and trying your best to push on off with just the numbers advantage.
Counterpoint though, we saw the Nocturne ult coming down a couple times, just really disorienting the side of Sanzuwu. I think in the previous fight, in that choke point, I think Rammus was actually looking for the MF for a few seconds before managing to find.
Oh, buddy.
They're going it again though.
Double knock-up, Call of the Forge God and the Paranoia as well. Can he land a knock-up? Jeez, look at the damage! The Casio almost practically soloed out, and now the Rammus is going down as well. In fact, the Casio did die one-on-one to the Ornn, and that's the damage that's so scary. The Brittle applying further CC. Massive pings on top of the Baron. This is going to be the objective that's going to be taken now. Now remember, Misfortune kind of meh at taking Baron. It's going to take quite a while to claim this objective, and therein lies the problem. If you can't finish it in less than 30 seconds, I think there's an opportunity for Sanzuwu to come in here.
I don't think Sanzuwu contesting this Baron is the best idea then. Well, they actually might not even try to.
There's no way they can take
going
this,
pretty slow, so yeah, you might have a point there.
Ornn isn't even the one that's tanking this one up. They're already falling very low. Here comes Lucian for the breakout play, but that was an interesting one instead.
Interesting indeed. But they do manage to peel off the Baron. I'm not sure if that's worth.
Tried to pop off, got popped instead. I don't know, buddy.
Yeah, I
doesn't
mean,
seem worth to me.
And now Ardent, with the numbers advantage, they're just going to path towards the Infernal Drake. You can see the wards. They already have a lot of vision set up for it, so...
Ari's just walking the mid, clear with one orb of deception. The minion wave will be gone right now, and they're going to have to path over to the Infernal Drake to cover the deficit.
Yeah, Ardent, they do have a few lower health bars, so it might not be in the best position to fight.
Landing the charm already signals that it's go time, and here comes Call of the Forge God on top of the Shin. Look at Zakia though, she's sitting on the backline, and here comes the Bullet Time. Actually in a rather poor position, so they might just find a bit of a window here. It might be too little too late, as Zakia will eventually get kited away from, and now they find 2 kills. They find the Rammus, they find the Leona, and they will find the Infernal Dragon as well.
Yeah, they do not have a jungler here, but on the other side, they will...
Psych, you thought, man. You thought.
Interesting plays all over the map, to be honest, but that is going to be Dragon equalized for both teams. Nothing too huge coming out of these fights. Gold rest sets about 1k.
1k is the differential, like you mentioned, and to my point earlier, it's so difficult for Ardent to take the Baron because MF is horrible at single target damage.
Yeah.
She excels in teamfights, she excels in 2 members, like dueling, because of her passive. The way it works is you have to swap between targets consistently to get the reset on the passive. Which is why it takes them forever to do Baron. Even with Infinity Edge, it's going to take them forever to do Baron. Ari, no way. No way you're doing Baron quickly, and the only person that can feasibly tank the Baron damage is Ornn, who has to sit outside to zone them away. So you can see why Baron is quite a poor objective for them. They can threaten it, they can't do it.
Yeah, unfortunately for them, Ardent's actually going to pick up the bottom lane turret here as well. Ooh, we saw a potential engage from the Leona, not actually connecting there. They're going to meet up again though.
Good try, good try. Points for the attempt.
A for effort.
Pings coming through. You see a Spirit Visage already for Suzy Sora, and no Adaptive Helm just yet is a bit of a question mark for me. It's the most high value item you can buy against Cassiopeia.
For sure, 100% agree. We're just going to revert back to, a bit of vision trades. We do see, Ardent having a clear advantage through control wards on the bottom side, so they should be able to secure any dragon that comes up. Meanwhile, Sanzuwu, they're trying their best to try to get some foothold of vision around the Baron pit. They want to ensure that that big purple worm is not threatened by Ardent, but so far Ardent's doing a pretty good job at clearing out this vision.
Whatever wards they don't have to clear, just leave there. But for the most part, like you mentioned, great job in vision control, isolating and removing all the potential hotspots for wards.
Yeah, Sanzuwu, they've been trying for a while now, but ever since Ardent was able to take tier 1 and tier 2 turret from the mid lane, they've just been continuously pushing and pushing their vision line further and further up. And if Sanzuwu, they forget or they slack a little bit in their vision control game, honestly, you're just going to get choked out from your own jungle at that point.
You can see the vision trap being set up right now. They need the Ornn though. Like, I feel like the Ornn is the linchpin in these fights. Yeah, the war in the river, absolutely fantastic. Prevents any Baron baits, as it were. But I feel like, you know, back to my earlier point, the Ornn is the linchpin in these fights. You need the Ornn around to have a successful fight. And because of that, your 4-man vision traps aren't as successful because there is no Ornn around to help you, you know, expedite things to force fights and call the Forge God.
Definitely, we did see in previous fights, the main factor in the engage was, in fact, you know, the Ornn with the Ornn horn just coming into the fight and basically running you down. So without that crucial factor in these upcoming team fights, you have to think it's going to be pretty difficult for Ardent to look for anything.
It's a catch-22. Ornn is your best side laner, but you also need Ornn to start the fights, right? So sure, you can just play side lanes with Ornn 24/7, but then you're not making full use of the other 4.
And with this, I don't wanna call it indecisiveness. I wanna say slower play coming from the side of Ardent. You're just allowing Sanzuwu a little bit more leeway in continuing to push up these wards. This vision war is actually one of the more intense ones I've seen in recent memory, I think.
Yeah. Both teams, I'd say, evenly matched in terms of discipline and understanding what the win conditions are, what the lose conditions are. So they are playing a bit more hesitant.
There's like, what, 5 wards in the Baron pit?
Yeah. No,
2 of them just
zombie
expired.
wards. 2 zombie wards expired. 2 normal wards expired, 1 zombie ward and 1 control ward.
Nice. That is what I like to see. No, I mean, but 5 wards not very efficient. Let's put it that way. But the other objective, the other main objective, I think it's Infernal Drake, is gonna be spawning in the next minute. There's not much vision here for either team, so gonna have to be very, very careful. Both
This is good actually. This is a really good spot.
Okay.
There's completely no vision if they walk around to check they can actually force this. Being very hesitant. If you hit the charm here, it's done. Hitting the charm on the Leona, they can force the fight right now. They're going back in. Glacial Fissure knocks up Sunako and she's instantly dead. Now Call of the Forge God to split up the front line and the back line. They knock up both the Rammus as well as the Shen. The culling though being used. Paranoia on the back. Lucian now is in a whole lot of trouble. Everyone jumping forward to the assistance of Marcy. Who are they going to target next? It's going to be Zakia that falls. Both junglers dead. Now they're chasing forward for a little bit more. Here comes MF with the flash, finding the double, and Missy hops. There is no way out. You have to think that even though she might be able to kite out, the stun here connecting means that she's certainly dead.
That was a good setup coming in from the side of Ardent. Good flank as well from the Ornn, enabling them to really just continue to route Sanzuwu throughout the entirety of that fight. Misfortune able to continue dishing out tons of damage from the backline, basically untouched. They managed to secure another dragon and reset.
Remember we were saying the catch-22 issue was Ornn is your stronger side laner, but you need Ornn to restart the fight. What happened there was the 4 men moved down to the bot lane, or at least the jungle area in the bot half, looked to start the fight, and because they did find an early pick, Ornn is like a screen away. They're just like, bro, we need you to out to reinforce this fight, and you know, in that situation, it worked out fine. Perfectly fine.
And now we do see Ardent beginning to pull away with a sizable lead, about 3k right now. Nothing too huge, but the ball's in their court, basically. It's all for them to continue pushing.
They have like the immediate prio in both mid lane as well as Baron because all the wards are theirs. The reset timings though not very clean. You can see Gia just went back by, and now she has both the Mikhail's as well as the Zeke's convergence, which is great, of course.
Alright, back to warding the Baron, I guess, is the name of the game.
They need to sweep this. They definitely need to sweep this, and Marcy does not have the sweeper. That's the tough part. They have to group up and sweep this right now.
This is super good ward.
Yeah.
And I honestly
Hello?
think that's the only reason
Why
why
isn't
Sanzuwu is not
Geo
picking
warding? Yeah, no, like if they aren't checking you and you have everything warded up, you like as a team you should be like, there's definitely some wards around that we're missing. Like, how are they not checking us when we have complete vision control of this area? It's either one, they've given up hope that we're taking Baron, or B,
Yeah.
they have wards.
Instead, they're not going to check the walls, they're actually just going to push up the second tier tower in the top lane. Not going to be able to pick it up. Good wave clear coming in from Sanzuwu, ensuring that. And we're back to the vision dance. And they're
This is silly.
still not picking it
They're
up.
not clearing the proper wards. This is absolutely silly.
Okay. It just
They
stands
keep,
on top
because
of
they
it.
keep trying to set this vision trap up, but they don't have proper sweepers to make use of it. They have so many blue trinkets, I don't know for what even, because you have full control of the game. If you have tempo, you don't need blue trinkets.
They're going to come back in the VOD review and like, ah, there it was. Super,
Yes.
super unfortunate. I mean, you have so many control words in your inventory. Why don't you
Like,
put
you look at the
some down?
inventory of Sanzuwu, this is the right, like, you're losing, you can't control vision, get blue trinkets because you can't check.
Yeah.
If you are ahead, you just want sweepers to deny vision so you can force them to check into you. Make them play with incomplete information. It's not... finally they will
They
see
got
it.
him.
Yeah, with the scryers.
Woo! We did it. That was frustrating.
Yep. Like, if you don't have double sweepers when you're winning, you are in tick, basically. Or if you don't have, like, the Umbral Glaive that sweeps wards for you, it's gonna be super hard to set vision traps.
All right. Now they do back off to allow for the Ornn to push up a little bit. And Sanzuwu, they actually just come in and clear a bit more vision, so it is a bit more equalized around the top side river. Still very intense though, could go either way.
Suzy is almost actually at max items, so...
Nice. Is the timer here yet?
I feel like definitely, but in terms of itemization...
No adaptive helm.
Yeah, no adaptive helm and no random moment, because of course with Essence Reaver and the crit build that Lucian is going for, Randuin's reduces a lot of the damage from crits. So I feel like itemization could be better from Suzy, but definitely the timer is almost up. It's gonna hit that point where like you're autoing Ornn and Ornn doesn't take any damage.
We have actually seen, you know, his impact in these fights already being basically instrumental, right? You can't take fights with without the Ornn, like we were talking about earlier. So this 1-4 is, you know, not the most optimal build, I think.
They need to play the 1-4, but like towards the mid lane or the
Yeah.
bot lane to force a rotation and reforce the fight called the Forge God. Because right now, no threat whatsoever. There's no one that can feasibly start a fight and get out from like a far distance, right? Now they're switching it up. Ornn is moving to the mid lane. They are going to play this one out, NA Ram style.
Ardent has basically been trying for the past, say, 10 minutes
Yeah.
to play the Baron threatening game. And it's just not been working out because, honestly, they're not clearing out the wards that they have to be clearing out. And so far, Suzy's are not being able
problem
to do
is
much except for take one turret.
Their comp it's not manufactured to threaten Baron. There's no
Yeah,
way
true,
for them
true.
to physically turn without Ornn around, right? You can use Paranoia, you can use Spirit Rush, but it's not sticky enough, as it were. And if you do jump on the lineup of Sanzuwu and you have sort of committed Paranoia as well as Spirit Rush, there is the presence of the Cassiopeia ult, which makes it so difficult for you to fully commit to turning.
Alright, but that is going to be a next dragon. This one
No
is
way
going to
this
be the
works again.
Infernal
No
Soul.
way this works again. It's like, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me, right? They're sitting in this brush again, no way it works. There's no way that Sanzuwu is going to walk up and check this.
Oh, well, they're not in the bush anymore. They're actually starting up the dragon.
Powerball being used, actually Righteous Glory used as well. Here comes the Shen into the back line. They already managed to focus down Cha. A lot of damage, managing to QSS away and flashing out. Now Paranoid into the back line. They're managing to take a lot of damage. Mars will fall first. Now Cha is still kiting away from the right side. You can see all attention on the MF, who is still alive, and not to mention dishing out damage. Now Ornn is the monster in the front line, looking to isolate the Cassiopeia with the exhaust as well, and this is extremely dead Cassiopeia.
Unfortunately for the side of Sanzuwu, the peak timing for Rammus's tankiness has gone past in the past
They were
5
this
minutes.
close
So
to killing the Misfortune.
Yeah.
But she had QSS, she had Flash, and she had Heal.
yeah, that was a good flash to cancel the bullet time.
Yep.
But alas, Ardent did have way too much damage, and they're gonna return to
I'll
the
be
Baron.
honest, this is still very hard to take.
Yeah.
They don't have anyone that's like tanky enough to do this, and they're standing on
Very
like, the
risky.
puddles of MR and armor reducing damage. skill.
They'll take it eventually. I don't think it's gonna be too much of an
They
issue.
need to swap over. Ari has to tank this.
Yeah. Alright, they get it.
It helps that they had the Infernal Dragon Soul.
Yeah, yeah.
So every so often, their autos were doing extra damage.
Every 3 seconds, I believe. At this point, looking pretty happy if you're Ardent. You have Infernal Soul, and you do have Baron. So you would think there won't be too many more obstacles for them to overcome to begin ending out this game. I would think that a perfect setup right now is playing a pseudo 1-4, right?
Yeah.
You have the Ornn hiding in the jungle. Meanwhile, you threaten a turret maybe, and then you go in. And,
You have to play.
turn.
You have to play the two closest lanes, like for example mid top or mid bot. You cannot play top bot with Ornn because, like we mentioned earlier, you need call force bot force. So right now, play mid top might be your best bet. Alternatively, you can just group F5 and just walk
Yeah.
in. I feel like you're far ahead enough to do that.
Yeah, with level 18 on Ornn, you're absolutely right. Far enough to do basically anything you want, really, if you're this champion. I think he's basically tanky enough to go in and tank for a few seconds, even 1v5, so...
Okay, this is good. You just wait in mid. Don't wait in jungle. Wait in mid lane. You have to 1-4 this.
Happy hands.
It's fine. The
they're
rotation
gonna
coming
see
through. It's okay if MF goes top because it's not like Ornn was gonna get it anyway. But it's fine. It's gonna push in.
Right. I'm actually not using this Baron all that well. I mean, they allowed this wave to push up a little too far. Could have actually had pressure on the mid lane turret by now as well. But as it stands, it just allows Sanzuwu to go top and clear out the wave, alleviate any pressure that they could have had in both lanes.
Managing to spell shield the piercing light, but here comes the push once more. Ari should be standing just outside the base gate actually to make a pick happen right now. You can see multiple members of Sanzuwu are looking to guard that particular control ward. If you have the Ari just sitting there looking to fish for a charm, you very quickly find a pick there. Eventually hitting the charm on top of the Shen will have to toss away.
I think they can dive this.
All you have to do is just do that, rinse and repeat. Just fish for charms, the moment it connects, all in. I'm not sure why they're so hesitant. I feel like they aren't very confident with or at least they're very cautious about how Sanzuwu is going to play this one out. And then Nocturne walks mid, and Ornn isn't around, and you guys want to siege. It's very, very indecisive.
This is a very frustrating game of League of Legends to witness, I think, for both us.
This does tell us something though. Overall, in terms of execution, when it comes to closing out games, when the skill level is about equal, and we're talking when you say skill level, we mean like things don't go completely like horizontal, big discrepancy early in the game. Even till now, because of the Baron power play, the goal is more or less there. Oh, hold on. Fight starting out. All the Fortune coming in. They will be able to knock out the Leona, and comes the Paranoid as well into the backline. I think this is going to be a whitewash. It's Rammus alone in the backline, trying to hold up the attention of 4. And once the Braum respawns and comes back in, my goodness, it's just going to be a whitewash.
Check out the amount of damage they're able to put down. I mean, you could have done this 3 minutes ago. You could have ended this game quite a while ago if not for the Vision Dance. But frustrations aside, still quite a decisive win at that final team fight. Coming in for the side of Ardent, they do manage to pick up the last few turrets, pick up the last Nexus, and
The thing is, looking at this game in review, when we talk about the discipline of closing out games with Baron buff, the things that they were doing, right, like Marcy and Janelle rotating between mid and top unnecessarily, a better team would have been able to capitalize on the rotations and say, okay, we can make a pick here.
Yes.
We can force a fight here, and even though they are ahead, if we can find a kill, that stifles and puts a pause on the Baron power play. So of course, the big lead was good and all that, being able to find these fights and position properly. I think their team fighting was really good. It's just that when it comes to executing with Baron and closing out the game, a bit more sloppy than I would have liked.
100% agree. I believe, just a very frustrating game to watch. I think could have been much better from both teams.
But right now, at least they have the VOD to go back and review it.
Yeah.
Like us being critical, I feel like we're trying our best to give input about how you best clean out the game. And of course, we do have an almost omniscient level of information, which is why it's very easy for us to say. But looking at the earlier sort of teams that have played today, there were some that exhibited the use of Baron very cleanly, and they understood how to just push down the lanes with Baron, right? So with that, I think we have come to the end of day 1.
Yep.
Right now, proceeding into the grand finals is going to be Ardent Esports, and they're one step closer to representing Philippines as the FSL Elite Philippines representatives. Of course, tomorrow we will be looking at the lower bracket and the conclusion of how everyone plays into the upper bracket, hopefully all the teams, the underdogs that got knocked out today will have a second chance at redemption, and those that we expect to do well, teams like Liab and Amplify that did drop into the lower bracket will have a chance for redemption as well. Before we go off though, we would like to shout out our sponsors, Dreamcore, Super Solid, Aftershock, Yahoo, as well as TechTite, the latter. TechTite for sponsoring the venue today and tomorrow for our players to go down and compete. Thank you so much for making things happen. And any last words, Boots?
GGWP.
GGWP.
See you guys tomorrow.
It's still Chinese here, so 恭喜发财. I'll see you guys tomorrow. I've been HungryCast. It's been Spoots. Thank you so much. We'll see you tomorrow.